What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Spoiling Movies. My name is Chris, and I'm going to tell you about a movie I just watched. We're getting back into the Marvel MCU shit, and we're only a few in. This is Iron Man 2, where we get into a scene where it's Russia, and some guy's dad is dying, and he's talking to his son while watching the news report about Iron Man, saying he's Iron Man. Guy is upset because his father is dying, and he's like, that should have been you. Blueprints to the arc reactor shit. So he's got these big-ass blueprints, and he starts working on new arc reactor shit. And we see Iron Man jump out of the back of a plane, but he lands in the middle of a big-ass party. It's the Stark Expo, where he's gonna show off some shit. He lands there, there's sexy ladies fucking dancing all around and shit. Immediately starts, bragging about himself. Am I saying that I'm not the greatest fucking dude? Am I saying that I'm not a hero and I'm fucking protecting people? Yeah, I am saying that, because I'm fucking great. And everybody's like, yeah! And then when he goes off stage and he's testing his blood and it says there's blood toxicity, we know it because the thing says blood toxicity level, fucking bad. Tony starts leaving the event and there's a bunch of important people that we see from his perspective on the way out. But then Stan Lee shows up and they're like, oh, there's Larry King, and he looks a lot like Larry King. It kind of works. And when Stark and Happy Hogan get out to Tony's car, there's a reporter, sexy reporter lady, and he's like, oh, hey, what's your name, or whatever. She pulls out a subpoena, gives it to him, like, you gotta show up in court. All the government people in court are like, you need to turn over that weapon to the government. And he's like, it's not a weapon, it's a high-tech prosthesis. Nobody gives a shit. They can't do anything to him. He's got the Iron Man suit. It belongs to him. It's not a weapon. It's a suit. It's a prosthesis. It's whatever the fuck he wants it to be. Sam Rockwell shows up as Justin Hammer, a competing weapons organization. But they pulled fucking James Rhodes' fucking roadie into it. And Tony's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, they asked me to be here. So they ask Rhodey to read some statements, and he's like, you want me to read specific statements out of order, just out of context, just to make you sound okay? He's like, okay, fine, whatever. Gary Shandling is like on the court appointed people, and he's like, just read from the thing we told you to read. And he keeps saying, like, you made me read these things and what I actually was gonna say. And he's like, shit, yeah, that's fine, just read the thing that we wanted you to say. And so they start showing like clips from people like experimentally trying to build their own Iron Man suits and shit, and it's all bad. People blow up. Justin Hammer is speaking to the people. Tony just hacks with his crazy computer phone thing. He just tosses it on some screens. Justin Hammer, this person that they thought was above board fucking cool dude, he's been trying that same shit, and one of his pilots got fucking twisted in half, and he's like, just shut it off, whatever, and like unplugs the shit so people can't see it. Tony Stark's walking out of the court. I privatized security. You're welcome. And he just walks out to applause and shit. Gary Shandling dude's like, fuck you, Mr. Stark. And he's like, So we see again that Mickey Rourke dude is still working on his shit. So you see like this big long fucking electric whip thing. There's a really cool long camera shot where they like follow Tony and Pepper down a hallway when she's like, why didn't you say this or this? Why didn't you do this or this? And he's just moving like holograms out of the way. All of his shit, he's just picking shit up, information off of his desk and like throwing it into things. They say shit about the arc in his chest and how it's failing and it's starting to fuck him up. Black Widow shows up, makes her first appearance, while there's a training match between Happy Hogan and Tony Stark, and she's like, well, I'm from the place, just trying to check things out. And he's like, I want you to get in there and fight Happy Hogan or whatever. And she's like, okay, fine. She ends up fucking him up completely, just using a weird technique and just putting him on his fucking back. I want one of those. I want one of those Scarlett Johanssons. He's like, nah, you can't. That's not a. You can't have a Scarlett Johansson. You can't have a Johansson's. Nobody can have a Johansson's unless it's Johansson's. It's not Johansson's, it's somebody else's Hanson's. Tony, Pepper, and Happy, and Natalie, I guess, fly to Italy, I think. Justin Hammer is at this restaurant at the same time, and he bumps in, and there's journalists there. Justin Hammer, Sam Rockwell, dude, like trying to get in, like take pictures of Tony, while there's another reporter like taking pictures and listening. For some reason, Tony decides to go out to the racetrack and take one of the race cars that his company owns and like kick the driver out, and decides to do it himself. One of the race cars is driving by. Whiplash is there, fucking slices the front of one of the cars, and it goes fucking splintering into some shit. Happy and Pepper decide to get in a car and go help Tony because they see that there's some weirdo on the track, but they're like going the opposite direction on a one-way track in Monaco where there's crazy racing happening. Like they're going down a track, they can't see that there's a bunch of fucking, that's just a bad idea. Eventually Tony's race car comes by Whiplash, and he fucking does the same shit, just cuts off the front of the thing. Tony's car goes flying. Tony dodges one of his attacks, and there's like the car explodes like right in front of both of them, but neither one of them they don't even like really fall back. Like the explosion does nothing. They're standing right next to it. Happy and Pepper wreck the car right into Whiplash, and he's like, ugh, right against the fence. They back up and they smash him again with the car. The whip shit cuts the car, and then cuts the car again, and then cuts the car in half, and nobody gets damaged because they were just sitting in the car in the right spots where they don't get fucking damaged. Happy and Pepper were in possession of his suitcase thing, and the suitcase thing has some cool armor in it. And this is like one of the coolest Iron Man armor moments. Puts his hand down into the suitcase, and it just starts growing all over his body, like the suit just fucking comes from the suitcase. Once Tony's got his full suit on, Whiplash throws his whips and like ties him up, and Tony's like losing power in the suit, but he's able to like snatch up the wires and bring him close and like throw him with the shit, and he whips his ass in that way. They take Whiplash away. Tony visits Whiplash in his jail cell, and he's like, I saw what you did with the arc reactor thing. I don't know how you did it, but you did it wrong. You should have had these different calculations. They should have been a little bit like this. I'm like, why are you telling him that? If he gets out of here, he's going to make it better and fuck you up. Don't give him advice. Rourke is like, if you make God bleed, people will no longer believe in him. The palladium that you're using for your arc reactor, it's poisoning you. It's a painful way to die. So it's like you're also giving him advice. Like, don't give your enemy advice on how to do things better. What are you fucking doing, you guys? One of the guards gives him a meal with a note on it that says something about potatoes, but it's an explosive. So he's got an explosive, and then one of the guards brings in a dude that kind of looks like him, and they give him a key. So he's able to be like, I can use the explosive and fake my way out of here, and that people will think that guy was the guy that was dead, and I can get the fuck out of here. So he does that. Explosion while he's leaving. People grab him and take him to a place, and they take him to Justin Hammer because apparently he organized all of that. He's there in a big white hangar with a plane behind him, and he's got a dinner table, and he's like, welcome, Whiplash, whatever. I don't like Tony, you don't like Tony, let's destroy him together. What do you need? And he's like, I want my board. You want a bird? You want a bird? Well, I can get you a bird. He's like, no, I want my board. All right, we'll get you the bird. Justin Hammer introduces Whiplash to army of robots that he wants to be fully functional like Iron Man suits. So he hacks it. He hacks into their system immediately, no problems. Tony just kind of stops giving a shit, decides to throw a giant party, and he's wasted as the host of the party. He's just drunk in front of people. He's like, you want to know how to pee in the suit? Just like that. And everybody's like, yay! Drunk Tony turns his hand drunkenly and just blows a fucking wall out with one of his blasters. People are just like, yeah! So James Rhodes, Rhodey, shows up, and he says this is unacceptable. He cannot be drunk wearing the Iron Man suit. This is wrong on all kinds of levels. He goes down into Tony's fucking workstation, grabs one of the suits and just yells at everybody in the party, get out! Give me a fat beat to beat my buddy's ass too. They start playing do dust, bashing each other through fucking like walls and ceilings and shit. And then it comes to kind of a standstill where they're like about to blast each other with their fucking hands. Tony says, if you want to be the War Machine, then fucking shoot. And he said War Machine. So then they do the blast and it just explodes a whole bunch of shit and they get like fucking, they fall down. And Rhodey takes the suit and he just fucking blasts out of there. He's like, fuck you, dude. It took Tony a while to get used to the Iron Man suit and how to fly, and somehow Rhodey's just able to do it. Whatever, that's fine. Then we see Tony in a donut, in a giant donut thing, breakfast donut shop. And then he meets Nick Fury and Black Widow, and they have a discussion, and Nick Fury's like, you don't fucking know what's going on, do you? You're being polluted by the fucking shit you've put in your body to try and keep you alive. Whiplash is still working at the Hammer facility, building things for them, and they come up to him like, what's the progress? And he's like, I make them like this. And he's like, that's not a helmet. People can't fit in those suits. And he's like, it's drones. Drones are better. He's like, why are drones better? He's like, drones follow orders, so people make problem. They bring him a bird, and he's like, that's not my board. He's like, yeah, you wanted a bird. We brought you a bird, man. This is a bird. And he's like, it's not my board. Nick Fury basically tells Tony, you can't do shit without us at this point because we won't let you, but we will help you figure out how to make things better for yourself. So they force Tony Stark to be in seclusion for a while until he can figure out what's going on. Rhodey brought the suit back to the military, back to the government, and they're using Justin Hammer's technology to outfit the suit, to just like talking about all the guns, like, oh, that's too rock and roll for you, alright, well, how about this one? Like, it could be that, but nah, I can see you're not ready for that. You don't want that shit. Just all these different weaponry and shit. And then he's like, and this one is the fucking best one. It's the final, it's the Cohiba. It's the last temptation of Christ. It's the fucking something. It's this ultimate weapon. It takes away everything. It's called the ex-wife. Tony is able to figure out that the Tony Spark Expo thing that happened back then was actually a model of how to create an element that would be a good arc replacement. There's no way that he could have known that back then. There's no way he would have known that palladium was going to cause him problems. So Tony's down there working on some shit. He figures out how to make a new element. It's a triangular arc reactor piece that he's going to use, and that's going to power his new shit. Take out his old shit and replace it, and it gets fucking gets supercharged, and he's like, it tastes like coconut. Then they have a new Stark Expo thing where Justin Hammer is introducing the drones that Whiplash has made for him, and he brings them up out of the floor, and he's like, Army drones, Navy drones, Marine drones, Air Force drones. And then Iron Man actually shows up and he's like, there's something really fucked up going on here, and this is not good. Let's get the fuck out of here. Let's figure this shit out. War Machine is also one of the drones that gets brought up. Rhodey is still in the suit. I can't control what's about to happen. Like, my controls are being overridden. Iron Man shoots out of there, and War Machine and some of the other fucking drone suits are like following him, and he's like, I don't know what I can't control this, Tony. So they're just firing at each other. It's a great scene. Just flying around, shooting shit, blowing shit up. One of the children that's about to get killed by one of the drone robots, a little kid in an Iron Man mask. And what I've heard after seeing this was that's actually Tom Holland. That little kid in the Iron Man mask was Tom Holland, who is now Spider-Man. So that's pretty fucking cool. Black Widow and Happy Hogan are going to try and get some into the Hammer facility where they can manipulate the controls to shut down the drones and shit. Black Widow is just using flips and crazy shit to just take out, 15 people or whatever. And at the end of a sequence, Happy Hogan has taken down one guy from a fist fight, and he's like, I did it! And he looks over, and there's a hallway full of dead guys, and he's like, Black Widow is able to get to one of the controls, and he reboots Rhodey's suit, so Rhodey is in control of the War Machine suit. So Tony and War Machine end up landing in this weird, Disneyland place. There's grass and fake like a fake park or something. And they're like, no, the big guns need to go up on the hill. And like, well, I got the big gun. Well, you have the big gun. Like, yeah, shut up. Just fucking do it. Iron Man and War Machine are standing back to back, and they're able to take out a bunch of those fucking guys. Like, War Machine's using his fucking crazy shit and his, like, turnaround gun, and Iron Man's just taking people out and shit, and he's like, duck! And he uses, like, ultimate laser to just slice everything in half. And it's like, why didn't you use ultimate laser the whole time? That's a fucking finishing move. That would have fucking worked. And then the new Whiplash shows up. Another Iron Man costume, but he's got giant whips. War Machine tries to use the ex-wife thing that Hammer gave him and just fires it. Pew! It just goes dink! And it like makes a fart noise. And then they remember that when they did the double blast thing, if they both blast from their fucking repulsor, whatever the fucks, at the same time, it'll cause a big thing. So they do that, and it fucks up the dude. When Whiplash is dying, he's like, I still win. Because he's about to, like, self-destruct all of the suits, and one of the suits is next to Pepper Potts. Tony Stark is able to go to where that is right before it explodes, grabs Pepper Potts, gets her out of there. He takes her to a rooftop, and they're like, well, I thought it was like this. No, it's okay. I was saving you because, well, I mean, things about us, like, things, whatever. And then they turn, and, like, Rhodey's there sitting in the War Machine armor, and he's like, this is bullshit. You suck. I'm just gonna take this. This is mine now. And so he just fucking flies off. He's like, this is my technology now. Nick Fury shows up at Tony's place in his facility or whatever, and he's like, I want to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative. And he's like, I thought you didn't want me for that shit. And he's like, well, I don't really necessarily, but you need to be a consultant just in case. Tony asks Nick Fury for a favor just so he can go to an event and fuck with Gary Shandling, the politician, senator guy. So they make Gary Shandling, like, give them all medals. And Gary Shandling is like, oh, thank you for your service. And then he gets to Tony and just, like, sticks him with the fucking pin. And he's like, oh, it's weird how a little prick can be so irritating. And then it goes to credits and plays Highway to Hell. End of movie. I think it's pretty good. I think it's fun. I love Mickey Rourke. I love Robert Downey Jr. in this. I think I was a little irritated that they changed Terrence Howard to Don Cheadle as War Machine in this, but it works. He does a pretty good job. They sort of add to the will they, won't they, by basically saying they will with Pepper and Tony. Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer is so fucking good. He's hilarious, and he's a really good character. They definitely should, like, bring him back and do something with him. Is this the best out of the 3 Iron Man movie? No. Even in the top, like, 8 of the MCU movies? No. But it's fun. It's interesting. I will watch it again and again because I like what they did with certain things. It's actually kind of cool to go back and see Black Widow, like, and how I could see some shit. He actually figured that out. He's so smart and he's good at reading people that he was able to notice that there was something up about her. I'd say watch it. I'd say it's a pretty good movie. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's good. Above average. I say check it out. Part of the reason I did this this weird chest piece thing is so that I could do a light, but I was never able to make the light work in that way. Because the only way that light would work is if it was, like, here. And I don't know how to keep it there. I gotta tape this fucking thing to my chest. How am I supposed to make that shit work? Yeah, see, that would have been cool, like, if I could make it work, but it doesn't fucking work. It is what it is. Fuck it. Leave me a comment. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you had a good time. I'll talk to you next time. Peace out, babies.
It's not my bird.
Well, listen, even if it's not the bird, I mean, this is a gorgeous bird.
It's you get some. Don't judge my arc reactor. This is I built this in a cave with a bunch of scraps. and like it's you know it's the Mark case suit Mark. Yeah. I, but like it, so bro, I found a hammer in the desert.